All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So Robert Saleh just wrapped up his press conference at the league meetings, and it was pretty interesting because he gave some awesome insight on a few different players, a few different positions, and in this one, I wanted to talk about some of the main or key takeaways from it. And I know it was kind of a crazy last hour with the Lamar Jackson trade request, and according to Adam Schefter, that actually came out like right as John Harbaugh was about to speak. So I ended up after I posted the video on it, I went to go watch Harbaugh's press conference. But anyway, let's talk about Saleh. Let's talk about some of these takeaways here. The first, which I thought was really cool of Saleh to say, he loves the running back room. He brought up how he thinks Michael Carter is going to have a bounce back season. Breece Hall looks great. Obviously, the team brought back Ty Johnson on a 1-year contract. And then, of course, Bam Knight. You know, this is a guy who I feel like a lot of Jets fans gravitate towards because he did come in as an undrafted free agent. Not only did he just make an impact, his rookie season, but the guy, I mean, he kind of reminds me of like an old school player, not afraid to just lower his shoulder, truck some guys over. Big fan of Bam Knight. And a lot of NC State fans, I remember, was getting a bunch of messages back when the Jets first picked him up, and everybody was saying, man, Jets fans are going to love this guy, hard-nosed player. Now, the reason why it was brought up was because of Zeke Elliott. Obviously, we had that rumor from, I think it was Adam Schefter early on. I think it was, early in the week. Basically just saying that, hey, Zeke Elliott has the New York Jets as one of the finalists for his list, along with the Bengals and the Eagles. And Saleh, I don't want to say he debunked it, but he pretty much just said, hey, we love our running back room here. Okay, so next up, Carl Lawson actually is not going anywhere. And this was a guy who there was a lot of speculation right early in the process, really, right when the season ended. Hey, he might be released. He might be involved with the trade. The Jets could look to part ways with him because of the contract number, the cap hit, and all that kind of stuff. Financial reasons, not so much because of his play. And Saleh shut everything down. He actually said that, as long as Lawson can rush the passer, as long as he can run, I think was the exact word, he's going to be a New York Jet, right? So, I mean, we look at his position, edge, it's extremely important. This was one of the biggest issues a couple years ago, right, when Saleh was first brought in. We just didn't have many edge rushers, couldn't get after the quarterbacks. And this system, as we all know, is based off of your front four getting after quarterbacks in the passing game. And if you can't do that, guys are going to sit back there and just pick the defense apart. So I don't mind it. I'm a big fan of Lawson. And also, he's coming off was coming off a season-ending injury, only 1 year removed from that. So I'm hoping that Lawson looks a little bit more snappy, a little bit more electric on the field now that he's further away from that injury. Now, another interesting point was when talking about the offensive line, Saleh said that the organization views AVT as an all-pro right guard, and that's kind of the plan moving forward. I mean, we all saw what Vera Tucker did last season at tackle. This guy, I got to be honest, this guy is becoming my favorite player on the offense. I mean, his versatility, his floor, his ceiling, just what he brings to an offensive line to me is huge. And by the way, he's going into year 3, still on his rookie deal here. I mean, we're talking about this guy like he's a 6-7 year veteran, knows the ins and outs of, pro football. Right, been around the game for a long time, knows how to attack defenses. No, this guy's going into year 3, and he's already just, to me, one of the better offensive linemen in all of football. Play on the left side, the right side, tackle, guard, whatever you need AVT to do, he can go out there and do it. Has success in both run blocking and pass pro. I love Elijah Vera Tucker. But he also extended it further, the offensive line discussion further to the center position. He said that the organization is for sure going to be interested in Ben Jones. And, we look at the center position, obviously nobody's really there locked into the position as we speak. And I don't want to harp on it too much because I've said it a lot in videos. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but man, we have to figure out the center position. We have to get somebody in the building that we can rely on, whether it's a Ben Jones, whether it's bringing back Connor McGovern. And I actually did a video with Alex from Bostorowski Productions, and he said that, in regards to Aaron Rodgers, having a capable center is massive. Right, not only is he just 40 and you want to keep 39 years old and you want to keep Rodgers upright, but A-Rod really relies on the pre-snap part of the game, the part of football, his cadence, trying to catch 12 guys on the field, 12 guys on the defense, trying to get the defense to jump off sides, really puts a lot of emphasis in the pre-snap. And if you don't have a center on the same page, he's snapping the ball when Rodgers doesn't want him to snap the ball, maybe they're errant snaps, or he's just, point blank getting beaten on the offensive line, that's going to be a problem. That is going to be a problem. So it's imperative that the Jets figure out the center position. The good news, there's a couple of really good ones in the draft, and then, of course, McGovern and Jones still out in free agency. Now, shifting gears to wide receiver, he talked a little bit about Odell and how the star power, the talent, and really wherever Odell has been, he's had success. He's one of the game's most talented wide receivers. So with the Jets having interest in him, it's more so a due diligence thing. They're crossing their T's, they're dotting their I's, in Saleh's words. But he also goes on to say with Corey Davis that he's a big-bodied wide receiver, and the team still views him as a part of the roster or a part of the plans moving forward. And there's a lot of speculation right now with the acquisition of Hardman and Allen Lazard, potentially Randall Cobb and Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, there's only so many mouths to feed offensively. Now, the team, of course, did go out and trade Elijah Moore. They didn't bring Jeff Smith back, and they went out and released Braxton Berrios, who's now with the Dolphins. But, Garrett Wilson factoring into the mix, I think the bottom line is whatever happens moving forward at wide receiver, whether it's Beckham, whether, the team decides to keep Corey Davis, we still have the NFL draft. The bottom line is this wide receiving core is going to be deep. It's going to be deep, it's going to be talented, and the Jets are going to have multiple guys that can step up week to week and really benefit this football team. Now, last but not least, in regards to Aaron Rodgers, this is something that obviously you can't talk about it too much, whether it's Woody Johnson, Joe Douglas, Saleh, whoever it is, you can't really go in depth because you don't want to fall into the world of tampering, right? So I don't mind Saleh giving vague answers. Hey, he's still a member of the Packers. Hopefully something gets done, that kind of stuff. But he did say that he's not hitting the panic button. He's not overly stressed out or anxious about technically not having Rodgers on the roster, which I think is the right move, right? If you were to go out there and say we need to get this thing done as soon as possible, you don't want Green Bay taking that and potentially using that in trade discussions. Just play it cool, be vague, don't tamper, and kind of leave it at that. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. This was a really, really cool press conference, so I'll leave it linked down below in the description box. Not only was it just a ton of reporters there asking a bunch of questions, but it definitely seemed like there was a lot of news updates. It wasn't just the run-of-the-mill coach speak. Of course, aside from the Aaron Rodgers stuff, there was actually some really good insight like we talked about. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.